And we are coming back live with our back to school coverage on this fourth day of school for Guilford County Schools this school year. We're at Oak Ridge Elementary, which is celebrating 100 years of existence and a track record of academic excellence. I mentioned this morning the school's report card. Let's pull it up for you one more time because it's pretty impressive. Last year, the school exceeded its growth to its highest performance in 6 years. It achieved an A in math and a B in reading proficiency, higher than the average scores in both GCS and across North Carolina. A pretty impressive feat as this school marks a big birthday. For nearly 30 of these 100 years, teacher Carl Cockman has called this place his second home. Thanks for talking with us. This is a busy week, obviously.
Thank you for having me.
You have an interesting journey of how you started and stayed here.
Yes, I started teaching here in 1996. A student taught here the 95-96 school year, and interestingly enough, I was reading a newspaper because it was the 90s, we didn't have the internet, and I saw a picture of Oak Ridge Elementary on the front of the Greensboro News and Record, and I told my professor, I said, I want a student teach at Oak Ridge Elementary School. So a student taught with Miss Maya Ratterholt, a longtime teacher here, and she stayed here almost 30 years. And that summer I was hired, and I have taught ever since the 96-97 school year. So I student taught and done all of my teaching here. So Oak Ridge is my home, of course.
You clearly love it here.
I do.
You are a teacher who found that calling, and you and I were talking about advice you would give to people considering a career in education. It's not easy, but you feel it's worth it.
I think you took my words when I was going to say, teaching's not just a job, teaching is a calling. So if one is considering a job in education, he or she must consider, is it my calling? And if it is indeed your calling, I say go for it. Times have changed. Children and the events in the world, things change, but a true love for teaching never changes, and the passion for teaching, if it stays in your heart, no matter what decade it is, we adapt to the technology and the changes around us, but we still love the kids, and that's what it's about, loving the kids and teaching the kids. So.
You mentioned the need to adapt. You had to do a lot of that over these last 4 years with the COVID pandemic, remote learning, and you teach little ones, so that was probably a pretty difficult transition. How have you been able to recover from that and kind of counteract the learning loss that happened?
Well, I will say on my end, the pandemic actually made me more computer literate, so it improved me. But the students, our community partners, the teachers, my colleagues, all of us worked tirelessly, and we worked together very well during that time. And we have such great parents that they sat with the kids while we were teaching, so we supported one another. And then your question about the learning gap, I think we're closing here at Oak Ridge because our teachers work together. We have such a lot of collegial discussions about where the students are and where they need to go. And so we have tirelessly monitored the students through data and through conversations, qualitative and quantitative data. And that's how we're moving those children along. So those children are probably like 4th and 5th grade now that really experience the brunt of it at the beginning of their education, but we're closing the gap because we're aware of where they need to be, and we're moving them towards their own individual goals.
Well, we thank you so much for your commitment over nearly 30 years to our kids
It's been a pleasure to serve the children and this community for 30 years almost. Thank you so much.
I love that. Well, thank you to all of our teachers working hard this week. We'll send it back to you.